So then guys, it's the day we've been waiting for. It's iPhone 14 launch day. And in this Apple bag here, I actually have a brand new iPhone 14 Pro Max. And today I'm going to be doing a review of the iPhone 14 Pro Max and by doing an unboxing for you. And also I'm going to be doing a review of the brand new Dynamic Island to see what that's about. And also other features like the always on display. I'm also going to be doing a camera review or camera comparison of the iPhone 14 Pro Max versus the iPhone 13 Pro Max to see what the differences are there. And then last of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some benchmarking as well of some different kind of apps against the iPhone 13 Pro Max A15 and this brand new A16 Bionic in this iPhone 14 Pro Max. Well, without further ado, guys, let me move over to my desk and let's start with the unboxing first of all. So we have the box here and it does look quite good actually. Let me just tilt it up towards you. Like what Apple always do, they always show the phone from the front angle, from a side angle on their boxes. So no exceptions here. It says iPhone on the side and let me just flip it over here on the back. It's got bits and pieces telling you about the iPhone. Also, we've got some sort of stickers to hold it together. They look kind of papery. Like I said, iPhone written on the side, Apple logo on the bottom, and then let me just flip it around to the other side. And you've got another Apple logo there. So let's just put this back onto the table. So what I want to do is I actually want to just flip it over and we're going to actually open it up now. So they've got arrows here, these stickers to help you do it. So I'm just going to peel it off. And they're not sticker actually, they're kind of like papery sort of base cardboard. That's what they feel like if you wanted to know. It's Apple's recycling plan. So we're just going to pull this off, flip this back over. Let's just see now if we can just kind of sort of slide it open. Oh. Look at that. Wow. That is gorgeous. A little tag here at the bottom, paper tag sort of thing just to pull it open. And look at that. You can see the purple here with the light hitting on it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I love this new deep purple colour. It looks absolutely amazing. Let's flip it over here. We've got sort of some instructions to tell you where the volume buttons are and power, things like that. And let's do that peel as a charging sort of thing logo there, as just noticed there for your lightning. So let's peel this off then. This is the best moment, isn't it? Let's do it. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that. There we go. All peeled off. It does look amazing. I know you get my reflection here, but it does look like an iPhone 13 Pro Max, a 12 Pro Max. It is the same sort of chassis. But look at the purple here. It is picking up my fingerprints, I will say that. But let's continue on and see what else is in the box before we look at the iPhone some more. So we have a USB-C cable here to there, so you can see there's the lightning, so just standard there. And then we also have this little card with instructions and a sticker inside. But oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, because I've got a European model, I have got a SIM card, a physical SIM card. Let me show you here. So if you guys in America, you've only just got eSIM, but we still have the physical SIM card slot. You can see it just there on our phones. So there we go, a little bit of extra info. So maybe next year we'll get eSIM and carrier sign up, but we've got all the kind of papers, the sticker, what unfortunately is in white, not the purple like the phone sadly, but that's quite standard for iPhones. It always has been the white Apple logo sticker. Got some cards here. Wow, it's quite a few cards. Look at this, you can actually play cards with these. It's amazing, there's loads of them. Lots of information to read if you really, really want to do that. So yeah, to your heart's content in different languages, all that kind of sort of info and everything. And really, I'm just going to put all of this to one side, out of the way. That's just basically what's inside the box. No charger again. But let's have a look at the iPhone. You can see that I've got a nice finger smudge. It is picking up my finger marks quite easily. So look at that on the side. Oh dear. You've seen I've only got it out of the box. But we have like the power and everything. Silent button on the side there. We've got the power on this side. And everything, but look at his fingerprints. Yeah, not the best, I will say that. Maybe a case will need to be happening, but I've got some more info about that in a second. But there's the front. You can see the camera there, and then we've also got the Face ID. This is going to be in the Dynamic Island, and I'm going to power this on for the first time now. Let's have a look. Let's see if we get the Apple logo coming up. There we go. Apple logo is powering on, and for the first time, an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Let's see how long it takes now to get to the main screen. I think it's almost done already. Oh, no, Apple logo. There we go. Hello. Apple introduced this last year. I really like it. You can see the Dynamic Island at the top. Let's just open this up. Select my language, English. And there we go, United Kingdom. That's where I'm from, guys, if you didn't know. And there we go. The iPhone's all ready to go. And that is the unboxing complete. So I've decided to skip over showing you how to set up the iPhone for the first time because it's easy as making a peanut butter sandwich, to be honest. And I've done it in previous videos, it's quite simple. But the iPhone 14 Pro Max, oh my goodness, it does look gorgeous. Have a look at this, look at that. I love this purple color. I'm not sure if the light's hitting it here too well, but it does look really, really nice. We've got the Apple logo, we've got the cameras. The LED on the camera is definitely a different shape and slightly bigger. I can tell the lenses are also bigger too. Like I did say in the unboxing, it is a bit of a fingerprint magnet though for everything. I've got the always on display here, what's always on obviously. That looks absolutely amazing. I'm going to talk about that a little bit further on in a mo. But overall, compared to my iPhone 13 Pro Max, as you can see here, there's not much difference, to be fair. The main difference obviously, there's a notch on this one, and this one doesn't have that. It does have that new dynamic island, what I'll talk about a little bit more further. But looking at the back of them, as you can see, there's not much in it. The same design language, the same sort of sides as well. So it's not really much different in that aspect if you're hoping for a brand new design iPhone. That's going to probably be coming next year with the iPhone 15. So then guys, just quickly, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, and that is Casetify. Now, I have mentioned Casetify many times and many sponsorships with them because I absolutely love their cases. And guess what? For the iPhone 14 Pro Max that I've just unboxed here, I've actually got a Casetify case. Casetify offer lots of different types of cases out there. They offer their impact case, and the impact case can be dropped at 8.2 foot, and then the ultra impact case can actually be dropped from 11.5 foot, and then the bounce case that you see right here can actually be dropped from 21.3 foot, and basically your phone will still survive if you drop it from that. And especially with their brand new bounce case, you've got these sort of extra ridges on the side will actually make it just bounce off a surface. In fact, I did a little bit of a test with this. Check it out. As you can see guys, the phone is absolutely intact, and in fact Casetify offers some extra bits and pieces that you can have. So I've actually got a Casetify screen protector here, what you can get from them, and this is now going to be protecting the front of my iPhone 14 Pro Max. And on top of this as well, on the back, I've actually got sort of a camera lens sort of protector as well, and on top of that as well, just to make it even more secure, the actual sort of edge of the case is actually raised ever so slightly above the actual lens rings here, so if you do drop it, you'll know that your camera is going to be more than protected. And you're probably wondering how Casetify make their cases so strong to be dropped from a height. Well, the main reason is because of their eco-shock technology, and they have tension distribution, sort of this sort of twisted design inside their cases, as you can see right here. Not only this, like the bounce case I've got here, it's got 6 times military grade because of this. And it's also got abrasion resistance to give even more cushioning inside the actual case for your iPhone. The other thing I love about Casetify cases is actually what the cases are made out of. Casetify love to make their cases out of plant-based materials and recycled material. In fact, as you can see here, these two cases that I'm showing off, they're made from recycled phone cases. And in fact, it makes up 65% of the actual casing. Something else that is great about Casetify is that they offer loads of different customizations for your needs, like the ones I've got right here. But if you go onto their website, they offer even more, and they're absolutely fantastic. Especially they do lots of collabs with lots of other companies too. If you've also got a MagSafe charger, you don't need to worry because Casetify make cases that are MagSafe compatible. Also, if you're extra clumsy like me, what you could also get is you can get some straps that Casetify do, like this rope strap that you've got here to attach to yourself and then also attach to your phone, just to make sure that you definitely don't drop your phone on like a hike or something like that. Finally, what Casetify are doing right now, because of the launch of the iPhone 14 models, they're actually offering 15% off all of their cases. And all you need to do is go to this web link that I'm displaying right here, which will also be in the description of my video, and you can get 15% off your first Casetify case. So what are you waiting for? Go and get one right now. And with that guys, let's return back to the video. But let's talk about some of these features, like I said, about the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And let's first of all talk about Dynamic Island, the big one. So in case you didn't know, that actual sort of pill shape at the top is called the Dynamic Island, and it can also be reshaping itself into different forms and with some apps that are compatible with it. And what I mean by this, let's open up Maps here. Well, I've got Maps open, and if I close it down, look what happens here. Are you watching a dynamic island? Look, see, it's expanded. And also, can you see it's got the navigation symbol on it? And all I have to do to go back into maps, just literally tap on that island and I'm back in maps. It's that amazing. And so I can just move around in maps, as you can see here. So it's quite cool. So let me just close it again. Do that for you. And there we go, it's expanded again. So it's really, really awesome. But this works with other apps too. So I've opened up Spotify on my 70s rock anthems, and I'm playing a bit of Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody. I can't play it loud because due to copyright reasons, but it is playing. And there we go, you've got a bit of footage there. But if I close it down, look at this, ready? And whoosh, it's at the top there. It's in the dynamic island. It's really, really cool. It's up there. We've got the album art. We can see it's playing too, and it's just playing in the background. I can just touch it again. Oh, try again. There we go. And it's opened up back into the app. And it's a really cool feature to have that at the top. I'll just close it down again. And as you can see, it's in the island. Open it again. That easy. It's so simple. In fact, I'm just going to do it one more time. Actually, I'm going to do it from this page. Look, watch. Oh, close down and reopen. Close down. And we're back to the home page and it's still playing. I absolutely love this new dynamic island. It's awesome. So the features on Dynamic are pretty cool, as you can see, but let's now move over to the always on display, which will literally just come up on my phone just there. But let me show you it back on the desk and what it can do and what it looks like. So the always on display is the best I've ever seen of an always on display. This is how you do it properly. So here we are on my main screen, press standby. There we go, that's always on display. Still got my Bohemian Rhapsody there in the background. But that is the always on display. You can see my fingerprints on the screen there. I'm going to try and open it up again. Let's have a look. See if I can get my face over to the actual camera. Let's have a look now. There we go. And I'm back in again. You can't really see my fingerprints as much now because it had lowered down the screen, but I'm going to do it again. You can see here. And there's the always on display, still showing some of my notification, and this is running at 1 Hertz. I really do love this always on display. This is the way, in my opinion, how always on display should really work. So really, that's all the sort of main features on the front of the iPhone, but the other features that we do have is a brand new camera at the top inside that hole punch, and we've also got the new cameras on the back. And I want to talk a little bit further about these. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a comparison of the iPhone 13 Pro Max last year's model to the iPhone 14 Pro Max this year's models of the actual sort of photography that we're going to get. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few video tests just to show you guys first of all. And like I said, at the front of these phones, we do have the sort of Face ID camera, and this has been changed. So first of all, I'm going to do the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and then we'll move on to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So this is a test of the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the front-facing camera, and how I sound with a bit of wind noise, as you can hear in the background. And obviously there's no autofocus on this. So let's switch over then to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So now on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and I can tell straight away, I'm holding the phone at my arm's length, that it's got a far wider picture. The autofocus is working really, really well. I'm on a bit of a bumpy road here walking. And yeah, it's really, really clear, definitely. The front-facing camera is definitely better, in my opinion, than the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let me know your thoughts too. So definitely there was a difference there. The iPhone 14 Pro Max front-facing selfie camera definitely gives a wider shot, gives a clearer picture in my picture. I think it was a little bit softer on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Don't get me wrong, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is still giving it a great image, but that autofocus and that 1.9 aperture on the front-facing camera is definitely an improvement over last year's iPhone 13 Pro Max front-facing camera. And with that out of the way, let's now move on to doing a bit of a stabilization sort of run. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little walk and a run with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, just using the normal camera on the back, and then I'm going to do the same on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I'm just walking down this path here a little bit just to see what the iPhone 13 Pro Max is like. Let's pick up the pace a bit, let's do a bit of a run, see what the stabilization's like. So here's a stabilization test of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Just going a bit of a walk. I'm going for a bit of a run. And that's what it looks like. Well, definitely in my opinion, I think the iPhone 14 Pro Max won that. The stabilization was definitely far better. It wasn't jumping around as much as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So what I want to do next of all is I kind of want to do kind of sort of a landscape sort of view of where I was taking these videos from. And I'm going to do that first on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, do a bit of a zoom in using the telephoto, and then I'm going to do exactly the same sort of video on the iPhone 14 Pro Max 2. So this is a 4K 60 frames per second test on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. As you can see, it's still quite clear and everything. Got a bit of a distance over there. Let's see if we can zoom in. There we go, that's the 3x zoom. That is on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Zooming on a little village over there. Let's just zoom back out again. And there we go, that's the clarity of this phone. Switching over to the iPhone 14 Pro Max this time. And the clarity again. You can see. I'm going to do a zoom in. I'm going to first of all do a 2x zoom. And now let's do a 3x zoom. In my opinion, I think this is coming out clearer. Let me know your thoughts. I think again the iPhone 14 Pro Max wins here. The video footage was definitely clearer, especially got that extra sort of zoom as well. We've got 2x zoom, 3x zoom, and that was definitely really good. That's all thanks to that 48 megapixel sort of lens and sensor what's in here. It allows us to do that 2x zoom, but the 3x zoom telephoto was definitely better. In fact, I've actually done some tests here of some photos as well of where I was standing taking that video. So first of all, standing in the same location, I decided to take some pictures on the iPhone 13 Pro Max first of all, and I did the sort of zoomed out ultra wide sort of camera lens photo, and you can see it right here, and it's come out quite clear, and I actually do like this photo. It's come out really, really well. But let's then compare it then to the iPhone 14 Pro Max sort of camera. This is the zoomed out 0.5, and to be honest, I can't really see too much difference. There's a little bit more clarity here with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, but there isn't much in it. But switching back then to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, let's just do a normal sort of wide sort of camera on the 12 megapixel, the main camera, and let's have a look here. Again, it's still quite sharp at this. It's definitely probably sharper than the ultra wide, but yeah, let's flick over to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and yeah, there's a lot of clarity. It's definitely more sharper here on the wide. Let's next of all do a 3x zoom here on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and you can see the difference here. It's lost a little bit more clarity, but it's still very, very good for what it is. But then switching over to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, you may notice it's not zoomed in as much because this is the 2x zoom. I just wanted to show this, but the iPhone 13 Pro Max doesn't actually have this, but I just wanted to show it. But let's do the 3x zoom, and as you can see here, and I'm going to bring back the iPhone 13 Pro Max picture. There we go. That's the 13 Pro Max. Flicking over to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, I think the iPhone 14 Pro Max is definitely clearer. And next of all, let's do that 15x zoom. This is the digital zoom built in iPhone 13 Pro Max. And look at that. Oh, it looks like a washed out picture. It looks like a water art sort of picture. It's not very good, is it? But let's flick over to the iPhone 14 Pro Max 15x zoom. And yeah, it's a little better, but it's still not the best. I think digital zoom is not sort of Apple's best thing, what they have with their photography, but they're still doing quite a reasonable job of this. And definitely I would say the iPhone 14 Pro Max has won here in videos and photography over the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But there is just one last category I want to show you, and that is also macro photography. So I took a picture here. As you can see here, we've got some leaf, and yeah, the iPhone 13 Pro Max does bring it out. But then if I bring it over to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it blurs out the background, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max brings that leaf much more into focus. It is definitely better than last year's iPhone 13 Pro Max. So cameras definitely win on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Hands down, there is an improvement. But what I am going to say is the iPhone 13 Pro Max is still doing a fantastic job, and it will do for many, many years to come. So don't let that throw you off if you can get a good deal on an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Next of all, let's move over to do some benchmarking on both of these phones. So I'm going to do a Geekbench sort of benchmark first of all to see how good the A16 is over the A15. But first of all, we need to do it on the A15 chipset inside the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So let's get that started here. So as you can see, I've opened up Geekbench, and let's begin the test. And what I've done is I've left the test run because it takes forever to complete. And let's have a look at the final score. And let's have a look at the results here. So the single core score came in at 1,722. And then the multi-core score, came in at 4,296. So let's do the same test now on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I've got Geekbench open, I'm going to start the test. And it's the same thing again, guys. Just going to leave this run and let's have a look at the final results. As you can see here, the single core score is better, not by a huge amount, but it's definitely an improvement at 1,884, but the multi-core is definitely better at 5,365 for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And that is definitely an improvement. So after this, I've decided to do another benchmark for you. So I've decided to complete an Antutu benchmark. And first of all, as you can see here, I'm doing it on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm going to start this. And again, it takes some time to complete. And let's have a look at the final score. So the final score has come in. And as you can see here, it has got a whopping score of 724,145. What, to be honest, is very impressive for an iPhone 13 Pro Max. But let's see what the iPhone 14 Pro Max did. So again, I started off the benchmark on the iPhone 14 Pro Max and everything began nicely. And the final score finally came in at 875,303. And that is really, really impressive for the iPhone 14 Pro Max with that A16 chipset inside it. So with that last benchmark complete, the iPhone 14 Pro Max definitely has some upgrades on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But to be honest, is it worth getting an upgrade from a 13 Pro Max to a 14 Pro Max? In my honest opinion, I don't think so. I do think it's a great phone, the 14 Pro Max, but I do remember doing a review last year of my initial thoughts saying how much better the 13 Pro Max was over the 12 Pro Max, and then the 12 Pro Max, how much better that was than the 11 Pro Max. You get the idea. It is improving every year. But personally, I don't think it's worth upgrading from a 13 Pro Max to a 14 Pro Max. But if you do have an older iPhone, yeah, maybe it is worth upgrading. You are going to see some changes and there's definitely some worthy upgrades in there. What are your thoughts on this? I'd love to know and put them down in the comments below, guys. And on that note, it's also time to wrap up this video. So putting down the iPhone 13 Pro Max, if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. And also at the same time as well, guys, please also make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell because there's going to be more videos coming along for the iPhone 14 Pro Max very, very soon. And with that, guys, it's time to go. Take care now then. Bye bye.